Hey guys, I'm Eric, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make waterproof print and cut stickers at home like these using your Silhouette Cameo and Silhouette Design Studio. Okay guys, so to start off with, as far as getting your stickers ready to go, you can see that I've got my image already that I want to print already on here, and I've replicated it so that I have 2 columns of 3, so 6 stickers in total. But let's talk about some of the setup as far as this goes here. What I've done here is I have my machine Cameo, of course. I'm running a Cameo 3. I have it on, I'm going to put it on a 12 by 12, the standard Cameo matte. And then the media size, since I'm using printable vinyl sticker in 8.5 by 11, I have it on letter size here. I just have it in regular orientation, and what I've also done is I've selected the show print border and show cut border, which you'll see the print border is going to be, if I click it, it's this light gray line right here, and of course the cut border is here. So basically you'll want your images to be within minimum the cut border here. On the registration marks, I did turn them on, and you'll see them up here as well, but then I also did minimize these to the as far down as it goes. So if I restore defaults, you'll see that the gray grid pattern for the registration marks is a little bit bigger. And so what I've done there just is I've shrunk it down to as small as it will go. And this is for later. So when you hit print to print this to whatever printer you're sending it to, it'll print these black marks here, but it won't print these gray hash marks here or the print borders. It'll print basically your images plus these marks here, which your printer will use in order to scan and then be able to do the registrations. So again, all I've did, that's for setup. All I've done so far is create or take my image that I want to have printed out and then eventually cut out, and then replicated it, kind of made it nice and neat and even, and then I have my page set up the way I described just now. And so once you have everything set up the way you want to have it ready to go and print, that's what you'll do next is you'll go to your print option. You can just hit Control P for printing, and then you can send it to whatever printer you have. Make sure that you do have your preferences for whatever you're using set up. Like for example, selecting your media paper. For this, I'm going to be using photo papers, but I'm using a matte sticker paper, so I'm just going to use matte photo paper for this setting here. I'm going to have my standard print quality, making sure that my printer paper is the correct size that I'm going to be printing for the media that I'm going to be using as well. So before you do fully print, make sure you hit your print, check your print settings to make sure that everything will print properly and accordingly for whatever it is you're going to be doing. Once you're ready to print, then you go ahead and hit your print button and print it out on your printer. Alright guys, so you can see that I've got my stickers all printed out on my sticker paper here. So the next step to do will be actually applying this laminate over top of it before cutting it. So this is just Oracle glossy clear laminate that I ordered off of Amazon. I'll find a link and put that in the descriptions down below, and then basically I have a piece big enough to cover the surface area of where the stickers are. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. Alright guys, so I'm going to take my laminate, and then still on its backing paper, I'm just going to make sure I have it aligned in an area where I know it's going to be able to cover the decals just well, or well enough all the way. And so I'm just going to peel off a little bit of the edge here, if I can. And I have a little bit more laminate than the actual graphic itself. Now be careful, you don't want to get your fingers underneath the areas where the sticker will be, because then you're going to put a fingerprint right into the clear adhesive, which will then show up through the laminate onto your sticker or onto your graphics. I'm just trying to peel up a little bit of the edge of the paper here to kind of get it started. Fold this back, and you'll see what I'm trying to do is set this up so that I can then apply it fairly easily. So I'm going to take my edges and apply about right there. Okay, the edge here, and I'm going to try to smooth this down so it's nice and flat with no wrinkles. I put a wrinkle in there, unfortunately, if I can get that out of there. Right, there we go. press that down. Get my squeegee. And set this down onto the graphic, onto the sticker. So you got to be careful as far as application goes to make sure that it lays down nice and flat and smooth and evenly. So you can see I'm using the hard edge of my squeegee to lay down the laminate. I could probably just do like this, push it out, continue to push out the laminate across the decals or the stickers. Alright. And all I'm doing right now is smoothing it down nice and tight, nice and hard. Alright, so I don't know if you saw, but in this one sticker right here, I actually got a bubble that was trapped in a crease. And so this sticker is probably going to be a no-go. Right here, where it caught a little bit early onto the sticker, lifted up, and I was able to flatten it out, but you might be able to see right around there, as it pulled some of the ink up, and then as I laid it down, you can see a little bit of a mistake right there. So again, that's just, I'm showing you the mistakes I made so that you know to be careful, because this right here, since this is does not have an air egress out of this, there's no way that I can press this out without creating a wrinkle right onto the sticker. So I was able to get most of that out, but you'll be able to see that there is a little crease still right into the sticker there. But the rest of them came out good. This actually is pretty good because you know that's a very, very small, minute error there. But the rest of these are nice and good to go. Alright, so the next step is to get these mounted onto your cutting mat, and then there's a couple more things left to do on the program itself. Alright guys, so now you can see I've gone ahead and placed my sticker sheet onto my cutting mat. I'm just using an iCappa because my Silhouette brand was very, very worn out. Anyway, what I try to do is make sure I put this as exact and close to the edges as possible, so that it's exact same and as close as possible as it can be for registration when your Cameo scans the registration marks, but also as it is relative to the program settings itself. And so, speaking of the program settings, let me get this realigned here. All right, so speaking of the program settings, what you want to do next is you'll want to have something to cut. You'll want to have the image to cut around to these stickers, because if you hit send right now, these are just images, and they do have the lines around them. So you want to make sure that those are the lines that you want to be cut. You may want to consider. Alright guys, so you can see that I've got my sticker sheet now mounted to my cutting mat. When I mount this to the cutting mat, try to be as precise as you can, lining up on the left side there and on the right side, or excuse me, on the top side there, so that it is exactly as close as it can be to what's set up on your Cameo or your Design Studio program. What your Cameo is going to do before cutting, it's going to read these registration marks here and up here and up here, basically so it can get its bearings before it starts cutting. Alright, so there's a couple things on the computer program next to do before putting this through your Cameo. Okay, so the next step is to get ready to cut out your images. Now before doing so, you'll want to make sure that these are have been traced so that your Cameo can cut these. And what I mean by that is right now, if you just loaded an image, it may not have been traced, and so we've printed images, but it has no line around this that that your cutter will be able to follow to cut with. So to check if you've had that, hit send, and you'll probably see each of my graphics has red lines all around that. So basically that means it is recognizing these as images, and then the red lines is what it's going to actually cut. All right, so I've highlighted all of them and I've just selected cut. If for some reason there's no red lines or blue lines around your images, it means it hasn't been traced and there's been no lines assigned, no edge lines assigned to this so that your Cameo can cut it. If that is the case, what you'll want to do is select all of your items, hit trace function here in your menu, select your trace area, highlight all of them again, sorry. Alright, and then hit, I hit trace outer edge, because all I want to cut are the outer edges to this, right? And so what that will do is, if I take away the image, you see that it traced and left that outer edge. Alright, so I'm going to hit Control Z or undo and put that back exactly where it was. So basically, yes, you have these images here, but what your Cameo is actually going to cut is the outer edge itself. So you want to make sure that those outer edges are there for your Cameo to be able to cut. Alright, so I know mine is set. I'm just going to undo everything back to before I did that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get my Cameo set up and my print mat loaded. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send here. You're going to hear me loading up my machine or my Cameo. Load. Alright, so the next important thing is to pick your, actually let me highlight everything here. I want to cut edges here. Now you're going to have to be able to cut through this, and so I have actually done a lot of trial and error testing to find out the correct depth for cutting, the force, and the speed that worked. And so I have a pre-made, through much trial and error, a cut setting for rock sticker paper, with the Oracal laminate. And through trial and error, I've just discovered that the depth of 3 with a force of 33, which is basically maximum, and a speed of 5 has worked for me in the past. Alright, you can try that if you want, but you'll have to try figuring out what you would need as far as being able to cut through the laminate and the picture and the vinyl sticker paper as well, but also without cutting all the way down into your mat. And this is what I found. Also, you want to have a speed that's just fast enough and not too fast that it can actually do that, because remember, you're cutting through a clear vinyl laminate plus sticker paper and backing paper of the sticker paper itself. Alright, so now that I've got that done, I've selected the edges, so I know I'm going to cut the edges, and then I've selected my cut settings, which is again force of 3, or excuse me, depth of 3 for my blade, and I'm using auto blade, with a force of 33 and the speed of 5. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hit send. And you can see my Cameo right now is scanning the registration marks. So it's scanning that little L shape right there. It's looking for the one up top here. Scanning that, and it already scanned that square up in the top right, or excuse me, top left. And so what that does, it basically oriented itself in order to be able to cut precisely around each of these decals, but specifically, as you saw on the screen, those red lines around the each of these images. So now my Cameo is going to be doing its thing here. So I'll just let it do its thing, and we'll pick up once it's all the way done. Alright, so my Cameo has finished cutting this, and I've unloaded it from the machine. And so now I can take off my sheet from the cutting mat. if I did this correctly, I have it set so that I can just peel off the excess, or weed out, if you will, the excess sticker paper. If I can separate the two. Alrighty. It's being difficult with me right now. Something to help me out here. Separate the paper from its backing. There we go. Alright, if I did this right, I should be able to weed off the excess sticker paper and the vinyl laminate that's on top of it as well. Trying to be careful in case it didn't cut all the way through, and I don't want to rip up the actual sticker itself. So here it is. Here's the excess paper, sticker paper with the laminates on top. But now I have a sheet of stickers that are peelable. Just peel it right off the back and you can apply them. Alright guys, so hopefully that was a pretty simple process there. I did abbreviate some things, like I said, as far as finding those cut settings. The cut settings are finding those out as far as what you would do with the type of paper you're using and the laminate you're using may take some trial and error, and just through trial and error is how I discovered the settings that I use. You can start off with the ones that I did just as a ballpark to kind of get you in there, and then adjust per your machine, because I know even though all the machines are supposed to be the same, they seem to be just slightly different. So hopefully you found this video to be informative and also instructive, and even demonstrating some mistakes so you know what to watch out for example, when you're laying down your laminate on top. But now you've made essentially waterproof, durable stickers that you can do for whatever projects you want. If you like this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.